problem, we have a rectangle and it has the area of 80 centimeters squared. The rectangle is dilated using A as a center and a scale factor of 1/2. What is the area of the image? Remember, we take our original, or our pre-image, which is 80, and we multiply it times our scale factor squared. So you're going to have to get the scale factor, which is 1/2, square it and multiply it by 80 to get the area of the image. And you will put your answer there. Let's move over to this side. Here is a right triangle. Which solid results from rotating the triangle using the axis of rotation shown? So if I were rotating this around that axis 360 degrees, which one of these would give me my answer? On this problem, we are taking a cross section from these, and these will tell you which way the cross section is, and you match which one of these would it look like. So go ahead and write these bottom choices and these blanks over here. On this problem, it says a nuclear engineer is designing the shape of a lead container to be used to hold nuclear waste. The shape is represented by the shaded region on the coordinate plane below. The inner and outer borders of the shaded region are semicircles. So the shaded region is to be rotated 360 degrees about the x-axis, which is, this is my x-axis, and describe the shape and dimensions of the three-dimensional object that results from the rotation of the shaded region. So I'm taking that and I'm rotating it this way around that x-axis. What shape would it give me? And what would be my dimensions? Like, what would be the radius? All right, this next one says, look at the wooden spool below. If a vertical cross-section through the spool's axis is made, what composition of polygons is seen? So if I'm going to cut this straight down the middle, up and down, which one would I see? A radish is shown below. What would be the best shape to use to model this radish in order to estimate its volume? Use the drop-down menus to choose the words or phrases that best complete this statement. So we're not going to use, we don't have a drop-down menu. We're just going to fill in the blank. The radish can be modeled as a, and so your choices are prism, cylinder, pyramid, cone, or sphere. So what does it look like? And what would be the radius? All right, a traffic circle is designed with two concentric circles. The outer circle has a circumference of 64 pi feet, and driving lane is 12 feet wide. So my circumference is how far around, okay? We haven't really talked about circumference, how far around. And you find the circumference by doing 2 pi r. All right, we can't use 12 because this is what we need to find. Then it says, what is the area of the center grassy island in the square feet? So we are going to have to find this part to find this area, okay? So we're gonna first find what this radius is right here. So using your circumference, so we know the circumference is 64 pi. We have 2 pi r here. And we've got to solve it for r. So we are going to then divide by 2 pi. So that cancels this part. And so in your calculator, so pi's will cancel out. Do 64 divided by 2, and you get your r. And then you are going to subtract this 12 from this. So whatever this is, minus 12, gives you the radius of the smaller circle. So now that we have the radius of the smaller circle, we have this now. We're going to put that in to pi r squared. And since all my answers have pi in them, do not multiply the pi out. Do r squared, and that will give you the number you need. Or on the next page, it says here's a right square pyramid. Round answers in the problem to the nearest tenth if necessary. It says, what is the height? This is your slant height. So we're not going to use that as our height. We have to do this one. This is our height. Okay? So if we look, we can pull out and make this triangle. We have a right triangle. So here it is. And for this part right here, it is half of this side. So that would be 3, and this would be 5. You're going to put x, I'm sorry, not x squared, just x there. And you're going to use your Pythagorean theorem to find x. So you're going to solve for x, and that's what this is right here, okay? Then it says, what is the volume of the pyramid? So once you find what your x is, you're going to put this into this. And remember, your capital B is base times height of the base. So this is your base, this is your height, and then this is x. So whatever you got for x, you put it in there, and then you figure that out. We'll just go down here first before we go to the other one. It says a pyramid is shown. What is the volume of the pyramid? So you're going to do capital B times h divided by 3. This is a square because it's 5 times 5. So you're going to go side squared times the height of the pyramid. So which one is it? 8 or 9 divided by 3. On this one, select all shapes that have a volume of 36 pi cubic units. So first of all, I'm looking at all the ones that don't have a circle, like E, F, and G, and they have the pi in there, so there is a chance that it may be them. So we're not going to multiply pi out when we use these. So let's go ahead and find all of these volumes, and then you'll be able to know which one. So I expect an answer on each one of these. So if I'm finding the volume of this cone, 12 is my height. It's an oblique cone, but 12 makes a right angle, so that is my height. So I'm going to go 3 squared, so pi times 3 squared, that's my capital B, times 12 divided by 3. I need you to actually do it and find the answer. Do not multiply pi out. Leave pi as pi. So really you're going to go 3 squared times 12 divided by 3, and then put pi on the end, because you want it to see if it equals 36 pi. So you're going to do the same thing for B. You're going to do the same thing for C. It's going to be different values now. And for D, you're going to do pi r squared times h. 5 is my slant height, and this is my height. You're not going to divide it by 3 because it's not a cone. Remember, leave pi as pi. You go ahead and do r squared times h and put pi on the end. All right, on E, this is a pyramid. So capital B times h divided by 3. And in this case, your capital B is base times height because it's a rectangle. So you're going to go 3 times pi times 4 times 3. You're going to leave pi. So you're going to go 3 times 4 times 3. So 3 times 4 is 12. Times 3 is 36, and put pi on there, okay? And so that's what you're looking for. That's not the only answer, but that's one of the answers. All right, on F, you do the same thing as you did on E, but you do not divide it by 3. Okay, it is a prism, not a pyramid. So you do capital B times H, so base times height, no dividing by 3, and don't put your pi in to multiply. On G, it is a prism, capital B times H, and in this case your base is 1/2 base times height, or base times height divided by 2, and then you have your height of the prism. So your height of the prism is 3 pi. Remember, you're not multiplying by the pi, you're putting that on at the end. So I want you to go to Alex and work on these. There are 17 problems. We started it yesterday, and this will be for a quiz grade. So if you don't have a great grade in here, it's probably because of your quizzes, so you need to go and do that.